I think whenever people say that they don't argue with their friends, um, they're either lying or they're not good enough friends to do that. I think arguing, not arguing in the sense of like, I'm yelling at him, but I think disagreements amongst friends is not only normal but expected, and how to move around them is really important, not only to maintaining a friendship but to grow it. I'm gonna use a dumb example to prove my point. Last night on the game, me and my friend were playing. I was taking it a little more seriously than he was because trying to I was trying to do good in those games. I was ranking a new account. I was trying to boost my MMR as much as I could, right? So I'm taking it more seriously than he is. We get through our quick play games and we start playing ranked, and we go against this team. All five of them seem to be really coordinated. Whatever. They're they're spawn camping us, and we're not. Neither of us are enjoying what's happening, right? But during the game, we're trying to problem solve how to not be fucking humiliated like that. And at some point, my friend was just waving his white flag, being like, "No, dude, we lose that. There's nothing we could have done." And we got into an argument about it. And we weren't spewing insults at each other, personal insults. Obviously, we would end every sentence like, "Shut up, you fucking dumbass. You have no idea what you're talking about." So just basic stuff like that. But we were just going back and forth for maybe 10, 15 minutes, just trying to have each other understand what we're saying. He's trying to make his point that the enemy team was too coordinated. It obviously seemed like there was something sinister going on in his words. And I told him that just with the slightest bit of our own team not trolling us, along with just us locking in, we could have done it. My point was that game was a winnable game. If we had changed our strategy, we could have won. His mindset was it was lost at the loading screen. This doesn't seem like the biggest thing to argue over, but I think it's our most recent argument because we don't really argue a lot, but when we do, it is memorable because they usually go on for like a good decent bit. Not because we're angry at each other, but because we're passionate. Not we feel very strongly about what our side is. And although he was joking, he was partly joking with me. I was being serious and telling him like, no, we could have won that, and I was giving him like examples and different ways of how we could have, right? All of this hypothetical, and at some point we were both like, yeah, this is stupid. Let's just move on, you know. But I feel like arguments like that are healthy because not only was he able to convey to me his point of view of like, yeah, sometimes it's just fucked. And I get that. Sometimes it just is fucked. We had a life weaver on our team when we were getting spawn camped. At some point you get off life weaver. We had a 1 in 7 Sombra. At some point you just get off Sombra. You know what I'm saying? The point I was making was that in situations like that, there's always a way, especially since we're duo queued and we have communication and we can just formulate a plan ourselves. There's a way. There's always a way. There's always something we can do to try, you know? And that really I was in a sense I was just displaying my mindset to him. My mindset of if there's something in our way, we can figure it out, you know? There's nothing that the two of us can't just solve together. If we put our heads together, we can make a plan. We can formulate something, you know. I think arguing as friends in a more non-serious about non-serious topics can be healthy. I think arguing about serious topics can also be very beneficial. This is going to be an insane curveball. A couple months ago, when tensions were like really bad in the Middle East, they're always bad, but like really bad, and we were really scared that my friend might get deployed over there. I was telling him like, dude, this is serious, and I'm like not really okay with that. Like I do not support Israel at all, and obviously there's nothing I can do about it, but I don't feel like I feel bad that you could go over there and die, and it's for a really bad cause and you die for basically nothing, you know? And he was he was under the impression that Israel was the good guys over there. And instead of having an argument of like, "Oh, you're a dumbass, you don't know, blah, 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 you know, this random shit." I just talked to him about it very like just cordially, and I was explaining to him like, "No, dude, over there it's all fucked up, but like there's not really a good guy firstly, and if there is a good guy, it's not Israel, you know? Like it's fucked." I had to I just we when because he was still at a point where Israel is our greatest ally in the Middle East, and he was using just generic talking points at the time. And over time, I just educated him about what's going on over there. And now he's like, yeah, I don't want to fucking die for Israel. You know, it's like us having that argument over the legitimacy of Israel as a state was very beneficial to our relationship because it helped us grow not only like mindset wise that we're both kind of on the same page as things, but also in a sense of he's more willing to accept information. I'm on my phone 10 times as much as he is. So I'm more up to date on worldly news than he is just cuz I'm constantly being fed information. And because I was able to just talk with him and argue about the what's going on over there, he was like, "Oh shit, yeah, no, this is bad. Like this is really bad, and I don't agree with it." And I was like, "Yeah, man, it's fucked up. It's fucked up what's going on over there." What I'm trying to say here is that arguing with your friends can be beneficial if you use it to progress to a point. Arguing over where to eat and then getting mad at people over some stupid shit and is something not productive, that is how you ruin a friendship. Actually talking about something like whether it be a video game that you have a disagreement about and you're trying to change or at least just present your mindset about something to show how you're always able to flip something in your favor, that's something beneficial. Talking about real world issues that could directly impact his life is something beneficial and something very real that we can work towards. And I think those kind of arguments are not only healthy, but very necessary to maintain and to grow a friendship like that. Thank you.